Welcome to Module 1 of the PRECySE Microlearning. This is the first of 3 modules designed to improve your overall awareness of online safety issues and help you better guard against them. We keep each module short and get straight to the important stuff, so please complete all modules. The small time investment will surely pay off as you'll be better able to guard yourself against the many scams and cyber attacks that are mounted against each of us on a daily basis. Let's look briefly at online scams and cyber attacks. Both can target individuals, you, and they're increasing in their frequency and intensity. Naturally, there's overlap between the two terms, but for the purposes of this learning, we'll broadly categorize them as per the following. Scams are designed to trick you into voluntarily giving up money or personal information. For instance, you may be tricked into buying something from a fake shopping site, or receive an email that links to a lookalike site that prompts you to log in with your username and password. Cyber attacks are more technology-focused and are designed to compromise computer systems to change, destroy, or steal data. You may download a file or receive an email attachment that you believe is genuine without knowing it contains malware or a virus. The commonality between the two is that us, as humans, are increasingly becoming the targets. Let's start by looking at scams and some of the popular ones today. Dating and romance scams. Scammers use dating websites, social networks, and chat rooms to pull at our heartstrings. The sites themselves may be fake and grab your sign-up information, but even the real sites can be used as a tool. It just takes a criminal to impersonate someone with a potential love interest. They then proceed to coax personal details or money from their victims. Phishing. These are emails pretending to be from a well-known source like Amazon, a bank or government, etc. They link to lookalike bogus sites which capture your login information. They work by placing you under anxiety, suggesting there's been a large transaction against your account, or by enticing you to log in and claim a reward or payback. There's normally some kind of act now time imperative. Family or friend imposters. Here, a scammer calls or emails or texts. The claim is that a friend or family member is in distress, in jail, in the hospital, some kind of payment deadline, etc. The ask is for funds to be immediately transferred to help. Surveys. Beware of survey scams that require personal information. Survey scammers don't really care about your opinion. Their goal is to get you to call a number or click on a link to a phony survey website. They often dangle a free reward like cash, gift cards, tech gadgets, or travel as bait. Amid questions about the supposed subject, sham surveys scoop up your personal and financial information, such as a credit card number to pay a shipping fee for your prize, something a legitimate survey will never do. They might trick you into signing up for a free trial offer that's actually a costly subscription for a dietary supplement or other product. Clicking on the link might also launch malware that can scrape sensitive data from your device. Either way, the scammers get the information and can use that for identity theft or sell on to other bad actors. Shopping. Have you seen those too good to be true shop advertisements on Facebook? They sell all kinds of things at prices that really do seem too good to be true. Normally, it is. You can make your payment and never receive the item, or if you receive it, it's nothing like the item you thought you were originally purchasing. The same is true for auctions. Criminals can buy or often steal logins from credible sellers with good feedback and sell goods they never intend to send. Investments. The majority of online investment scams are now mostly centered around cryptocurrency. They use fake advertorials convincingly designed to look like pages from the BBC or Mirror websites. They falsely use celebrities, like those from Dragon's Den, to trick you into believing a new trading platform using AI can guarantee to make you a fortune. You enter your interest and shortly receive a call from a bogus investment manager asking you to make a modest initial investment. The bottom line is that there are so many ways to be tricked out of money. or into giving up your valuable personal data. A recent report by Which shows just how prevalent these attacks are and the financial cost they cause. What this doesn't show is the emotional trauma these scams cause to their victims. Imagine spending out several £1,000s that you don't really have to help a loved one, only to find out your money has been stolen from you by a criminal. These scams can be convincing, and it's easier than you think to fall for them. Let's move on to those nasty pieces of software that crawl into and infect your machine. These are broadly categorized under the umbrella term malware. In the context of this course, we'll consider the malware aimed at you. You've probably heard the term virus and malware used interchangeably, but they're not quite the same. Viruses are just one type of malware among many other kinds. So what other types of malware are there and what do they do? Let's start with ransomware, one of the most dangerous malware programs. It is mainly because, unlike other common malicious programs, there is probably no cure for ransomware attacks. After infiltrating your system, ransomware locks your files and folders with a robust encrypting algorithm. Basically, it scrambles your data. The attacker behind it then asks you for a ransom in return for a decrypting tool or key to get that data back. Most ransomware is spread through infected websites using a technique known as drive-by downloads, or through phishing, which we'll cover in detail later. Spyware is a kind of malware that tries to keep itself hidden, while it secretly records information and tracks your online activities on your computers or mobile devices. It can monitor and copy everything you enter, upload, download, and store. Adware. This is unwanted software designed to bombard you with irrelevant, untrustworthy ads, sometimes through your web browser, but these can appear randomly on your screen too. Worms. These are malicious programs that can spread all by themselves. They take advantage of security failures, and once a worm takes control of your device, it can scan other systems connected to it and infect them too. Worms are largely spread through email and messaging services. Trojans. A Trojan is a malicious program that pretends to be legitimate and attracts users to install it by misrepresenting itself as useful software for their system. It's one of the most dangerous malwares since it can remain unnoticed by the user and work silently in the background. Once it gets entered into the system, the attackers behind it can gain unauthorized access to your device and steal your private information and data. The Trojan can also install other dangerous malware, like ransomware. Trojans are mainly spread through utility software and spam email attachments. Botnets. A botnet is a network of infected computers controlled remotely by a criminal. If your machine becomes infected, it becomes one of the many bots and acts as a zombie to infect other systems and join them to the botnet. Hackers can use a botnet for carrying out various malicious activities, like attacking websites or mining cryptocurrency. So how does malware get onto your machine? Phishing and malspam emails. Usually, the main objective of phishing emails is to wheedle sensitive information out of you, such as your access credentials to various services, your card verification code, PIN code, or other personally identifiable information. But by masquerading as mail from a trusted institution, they may contain attachments or links that would lead to your device getting infested with malware. Fraudulent websites. To trick victims into downloading malicious apps, cybercriminals like to spoof websites of famous brands or organizations. The scammers create fraudulent websites impersonating the real deal, with the domain name resembling the domain of the organization being spoofed as closely as possible, with some subtle differences here and there, such as adding a letter or symbol, or even a whole word. The websites will be malware-laced and will try to dupe the target into clicking on links that will download malware onto their devices. Fake apps. These are fake mobile applications masquerading as the real thing. They try to dupe users into downloading them to their devices and thereby compromising them. They can take on the guise of anything, posing as fitness tracking tools, cryptocurrency apps, or even COVID-19 tracing apps. However, in reality, instead of receiving the advertised services, the devices will get infested with various flavors of malware, such as ransomware, spyware, or keyloggers. Adware. Some websites are riddled with various ads that pop up whenever you click on any section of the web page, or can even appear immediately when you access certain websites. While the aim of these ads is generally to generate revenue for these sites, sometimes they are laced with various types of malware, and by clicking on these, you may involuntarily download the malware onto your device. Some ads even use scare tactics, telling users that their devices have been compromised and the only solution offered in the ad can clean up the compromise. However, that is almost never the case. P2P sharing and torrents. Whilst over the year, peer-to-peer sharing and torrents have gained a reputation for being a place to illegally download software, games and media, they have been used by developers as an easy way to disseminate their open source software or for musicians to spread their songs. However, they are also infamous for being abused by criminals who inject the shared files with malicious code. USB flash drives. External storage devices are a popular form of storing and transferring files. However, they do carry a number of risks. For example, threat actors like to use the lost flash drive social engineering strategy to dupe unwitting Good Samaritans into plugging a compromised thumb drive into their computers. Once an afflicted drive is plugged in, your device can get infested with a keylogger or ransomware. So you may have seen a theme developing through this, that being that us, as humans, are at the center of all of these attacks. If we drop our guard, bad things happen. Here's a few sobering statistics. Human error is the primary cause of cybersecurity breaches. It accounts for 95% of all data breaches. 85% of email attacks went after user credentials, these being typically your username and password to log into websites. 20% of data breaches start with compromised user credentials, so when they've obtained your login details, they start using them to obtain more data. 82% of users reuse passwords across various accounts. This is dangerous because if those same login details are reused, attackers can log in to multiple sites as you. 44% of data breaches exposed personal data. And that personal data, particularly if it helps personally identify you, can be sold for about £120 per stolen record. 94% of malware attacks now originate from emails sent to victims. In summary, you've learned why the internet is not safe and why cyber criminals are targeting you. You've learned about various popular scams and malware attacks used to steal your data. You've learned why the majority of these attacks need to exploit humans, often through social engineering in order to be successful. And how to check your details to discover if your data has knowingly been leaked in previously successful corporate data breaches. Well done! You've completed the first of 3 modules. One final point. Regardless of the type of scam, many instances of fraud can be avoided by remembering the old rule of thumb. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. If something seems out of the ordinary, it probably is. In the next module, we'll look at how your personality, your susceptibility to persuasion, your appetite for online risky behavior, and your online experience may affect your likelihood of falling victim to one or many of these attacks.